Although The Big Bang Theory ended almost 3 years ago, new facts about the show keep coming up to the surface. Did you know, for example, that Jim Parsons' decision to quit the show was rooted in quite a few tragedies? We'll also tell you about a nasty habit Joni Galecki had, and you'll see why Mayim Bialik needed therapy whilst on the show.
It's stuck, and there are tears there. Like, I want to cry.
Why exactly Jim Parsons decided to leave? As it turns out, it wasn't because he was tired of playing Sheldon. And no, he didn't just want to move on and do something else. The reason behind his decision was very personal and quite tragic. Jim was in emotional turmoil due to several things that were going on in his life at the time. First of all, his beloved dog passed away. It was a pet the actor and his husband adopted a year after meeting, so it was a huge loss for both of them. And since he had to return to work, Jim barely had time to grieve. Soon afterward, he broke his foot in an onstage accident while doing a Broadway show. It was an unpleasant incident, but it helped the actor do what he needed to, finally slow down a bit. And while healing his broken foot and heart, Jim realized something else. He'd be 46 after the 12th season of The Big Bang Theory, which was only 6 years younger than his father was when he passed away. Sure, Jim doesn't think that he'll die at 52 as well, but just in case, he doesn't want to spend every waking hour working. Parsons felt like all these struggles were signs from the universe that he had to let something go. At that time, Parsons was working on The Big Bang Theory, as well as appearing on Broadway shows and in commercials. And it started becoming a bit too much. I didn't know that I was searching for it, but between the dog and the foot, I was just like, okay, let's take charge here, Parsons commented. That's how the actor decided that it was time to quit playing Sheldon. And without Sheldon, there could be no Big Bang Theory. In fact, when Jim announced his decision to quit, Kaley Cuoco was the most shocked. She even started crying, thinking about the end of the show. The actress had the time of her life on the set, but she also faced a challenge of her own. Chuck Lorre messed with Kaley Cuoco. We all know that Kaley dated her co-star Joni Galecki for a while, and they broke up at the worst possible moment, right when Penny and Leonard started their relationship again. And according to Cuoco, it seemed like they slept with each other in every other scene. It wasn't easy for Kaley and Joni to play a couple passionately in love right after ending their real-life romance. It was still a bit sensitive for both of them. But there was someone who made things even worse. The Penny actress recently talked about that period with Dax Shepard in his podcast Armchair Expert. And she suggested that the Big Bang Theory creator, Chuck Lorre, made sure that they had as many intimate scenes as possible. Joni and I would talk. I'm like, no, but I think he did that on purpose. I still believe he might have, Kaley said. She added that he could have done it just to mess with them. Apparently, that's the kind of sense of humor Lorre has. But even if he did it on purpose, Kaley never got mad at Chuck. In fact, she shared with Dax Shepard that, if anything, it made her love him more. Well, if you're on a sitcom, you certainly gotta have a sense of humor. And you should also be ready for others to mess with you once in a while. Now, let's see what other cast members had to say about the behind-the-scenes magic on the show. Kunal Nayyar shares a secret about the stairs. The gang walked up or down the stairs in pretty much every single episode. They had all kinds of conversations on those stairs, and it was so much funnier than if they'd just taken an elevator. So much of the charm would have been lost, right? But filming the stair scenes wasn't as easy as it seemed. The Raj actor recently shared just how complicated it actually was. Kunal said they'd go down the stairs and then the director would yell, "Hold!" Then, in a matter of minutes, they'd change the scenery to make it look like a different floor. And while the set dressers were doing their magic, the actors would just remain in their positions in between. You run back up the stairs that go nowhere, and then you walk back down as if it's a new floor, Nayyar added. Yep, there was absolutely nothing down there. Just a tiny space where they all had to cram together. Thank goodness this was before the era of social distancing. But there is something else about this stair space that will surprise you more than anything. Turns out that Joni Galecki had a nasty habit. Kunal shared that, for the entire length of the show's run, the Leonard actor would stick his chewing gum on the wall there. That's right, he did that for 12 years. There must have been thousands of pieces by the end of the series. If any of you are Joni Galecki fans and you want his dried chewing gum, I'm sure it's for sale somewhere on the internet, Kunal suggested. Well, Hollywood is a weird place, so he might actually be right. And we're moving on to the next Big Bang Theory star who will show us a dark side of the Big Bang. Mayim Bialik went to therapy. She's been acting most of her life, but just because you have experience in something doesn't mean that you can't get anxious about it. And that's exactly what happened to Mayim on the set of The Big Bang Theory. The actress recently spoke up on her web series, Mayim Bialik's Breakdown, about her high level of anxiety. She shared that she gets anxious about performing in general, and she doesn't feel her best while acting in a sitcom.
And when I've tried to do things like improv, things that are very kind of freeform, I freeze.
Watching her incredible performance in the series, it's hard to guess that she was having such troubles. But it turns out that sometimes it took a lot of effort for her to act the way the director wanted her to, and to get the necessary reaction from the live audience. To deal with her anxiety issue, Mayim started going to therapy. Thankfully, it helped her feel better. Did you know that being in a sitcom could be so hard? And now on to her colleague, who had her own problems while filming. They were easier than anxiety, but still. Melissa Rauch had couch issues. It's no secret to anyone that the actress is the shortest of all her former co-stars. In fact, she's only about 5 feet tall. Melissa's height was a source of jokes in the show quite a few times, but it actually created some problems on the set. You know that most of the apartment sets of The Big Bang Theory involved couches, where the characters would hang out. But Rauch's relationship with those couches was much more awkward than you think. Surprisingly, all of them were quite deep, which is a disaster for someone with legs as short as Melissa's. Every time the actress would sit back, her legs would just go up, and when it happened, she'd need, like, a hoist to help her get up. The crew had to prop Melissa up with multiple cushions to avoid that happening, and they had to do it every single time Bernadette sat on a couch. If you look closely, you can see just a huge amount of pillows that are propping me up, the actress shared. I'm pretty sure that even the most eagle-eyed fans never noticed that. But now we'll never be able to unsee all of those cushions around her. And the last detail we want to share with you today is the guys thought Kaley was too cool. When they all just started working together on the show, Jim, Joni, Simon, and Kunal had a certain opinion about Kaley. Since she was the youngest and the best looking out of them all, they were sure that she had a better social life than they did. So they never invited her to go anywhere with them after work. Only after about a year did the guys find out that she had no other plans and wasn't going out anywhere. And she didn't even know that they were doing it.
You guys go out? And he goes, we thought you were too cool. I'm like, you've never invited me.
After that, the guys finally became best friends with Kaley. And they all still are. For another Big Bang Theory fix, watch our video about the cast's real-life partners. And stay awesome!